Hey guys, and welcome to yet another one of my how to AE tutorials. In this one, I'll be teaching you how to set up and use a camera in After Effects. So let's get started on that. I still have this SWF in here of Derek fighting Mally from my previous tutorial, how to export SWFs into After Effects, and go into a custom view. As you can see, I have a platform for Derek and Mally to be standing on, and I already have them set up as 3D layers, which I explained in the first tutorial. And like I also explained in the first tutorial, cameras don't work on anything except 3D layers unless you apply an effect to a layer, such as Trapcode Particular or Element 3D, which is altered by a camera even though it is a 2D layer. But anyway, I'm going to get rid of that camera that was already there for some reason. I'm going to go into New, Camera. Now, you're going to want a one-node camera because a two-node camera, you basically have to change change what it's viewing as well as its position. So you'd have to change two settings to make it move around, and that's unnecessary and just time wasted. So for presets, I like to use 50mm. I don't think it really makes a difference, but as most people in my video productions class can tell you if you ever met them, I'm not that great with cameras. But anyway, you could enable depth of field for this, but I don't typically. Well, I've started getting into using depth of field. I haven't seen any After Effects animators typically use it, so I don't recommend using it unless you've played around with it before and gotten used to it with animations. But if you've used these things before, you wouldn't really be watching my tutorials. So you're gonna press OK, and now you can click C or go up here and choose one of the camera tools. I like to just use C. Now when it's this camera shaped icon, that means you can basically, with the left mouse key, you can rotate the view to wherever you want. There we go. Wait, there. With the wheel thing in the center of your mouse, you can pan it, and with the right mouse button, you can zoom in and out. And so I'm going to move this up here. Now when you have a 3D platform, you're going to want it to be down there, just because it would look odd if you just had a floating platform like that, unless that's what you're trying to go for. But anyway, there we go. Now, say I want to follow Mally being thrown up into the air by Derek's sword with the camera. I'm going to, well, as you can see, when I pan or scrub through the animation, the camera doesn't move. So what if I have the camera here, right there. What if I just move the camera there in this next frame? It doesn't move. Wow, okay, that was said weird. It doesn't move. So it's locked in that position that you moved it into. You're going to need to use keyframes for this. So for a camera, you're going to want to just choose position. There's no need to change the orientation or rotations of it. So when you click the stopwatch here to set up keyframes, sorry, I didn't explain that. You need to click this stopwatch here to enable keyframes, and as you can see, a keyframe is set up right here. Now I'm gonna scrub to where I want to move the when I want to move the camera, and I'll move it right there. Now, as you can see, another keyframe was set up there. The stopwatch enables automatic keyframes, and that's really the only way of using keyframes. Now, keyframes in After Effects are much different than keyframes in Flash. If you're a Flash user, this might be difficult to get used to. But basically, I have no way of explaining it. All I can say is that when you have one keyframe and then establish another one, anything will sorry guys, I'm having a bad day today right now. I'm bad at explaining this. Basically, it just moves continuously between keyframes, unless the effect can't move per se. There are certain things like that, like masks and things that you can establish in After Effects. They'll look like squares rather than diamonds. Basically, say these were squares. The camera would stay in its position, and then when it hits this one, it would change to a different change to that position that I have the keyframe on. But anyway, yeah. So I have it tracking Mally there, and I'm just gonna move it down right here, and then move it up right there. Now, there, Mally falls back down. Now, say I want to just, for whatever reason, move the camera, like, say, way over here, without it having any movement, without it showing the camera moving. Like, it just somehow teleports over there, or switches to a different scene or something. You're going to want to zoom in on the keyframes as much as you feel comfortable with. And so you're going to see the distance between each keyframe marked by this lighter spot right there. To do that, you're going to want to just go to the next frame and then move the camera. So as you can see, between those there is no movement. It doesn't show the camera moving. The camera just instantly moves there in one frame. And if you want ease, you're going to want to check keyframe interpolation. Oh, here's another thing. For each keyframe, you're going to, on the first keyframe that you put in each layer, or for whatever attribute to the camera, for each keyframe, you're going to want to go to keyframe interpolation and change this spatial interpolation to linear. Otherwise, the camera will glitch out and, how do I explain it? Basically, the camera will go in a motion like this. It'll start in the correct position that you want it to, it'll end in the correct position, but somewhere along the way, it'll zoom out and do something like that. Hang on. It'll do something such as that. It'll zoom out and zoom in, or vice versa, or whatever. So you're going to want to establish the first keyframe that you set up as linear for spatial interpolation. If you forget, you can always just go back and do it one by one, but that would take time, and ain't nobody got time for that. Sorry, tried to make a joke. I'm an idiot. But anyway, there we go. And that's all there really is to camming, or to using a camera. I forgot. If you want to establish, or to set up ease, you can print. Maybe it's not F9. Maybe I changed my hotkeys for this. But anyway, if you want to do it manually, you can go into, you right click on the keyframe, go to keyframe velocity, and then you're going to have to change the speed values. Sometimes these things will not, sometimes it won't stay, like the numbers won't stay as you put them. Sometimes they will. I'm not really a master. I'm not really all that knowledgeable when it comes to that. It just works sometimes and doesn't work other times. But usually I click 100 on speed. Whoops. And then depending on whether I want it, yeah, there you see, it's a 0 right there again, even though I set it as 100. So you're going to want to, for influence, if it's easing out, you're probably going to want to put 100 or 50% for incoming. If it's easing in, you want it to be 50% for outgoing. It might be the opposite way for either of those, I don't know. But anyway, there we go. And let's see. Yeah, there, see? We had some ease on this. And so that is how, that is all there is to using a camera in After Effects. There are other things you can do, but these are the basics. And I guess I'll see you guys in